Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me here for another video. I'm really excited to share this one with you guys because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics again, which is dreams. So if you've seen the other video on this channel where I talk about the different types of spiritual dreams, I kind of go into like 3 different types, and I won't like retell that whole video here, but I will say that for me, the way I get like spiritual knowledge or like I guess kind of information from my soul through dreams is through like symbols in my dreams and through these like I don't know, kind of like abstract I guess signs and symbols and even just plot devices of the dream. And I thought it would be really fun if I kind of go through some of the dreams I've had recently and talk about how I like pick out the symbolism and how I discern what the dream is trying to tell me about either just this phase in my life, about myself, about maybe things I'm not looking at that I should be looking at, and things of that nature. I also thought it would just be really fun to share with other spiritual people or spiritually open-minded people these dreams because they're very fun, they're very entertaining, and at least to me, in my opinion. But also, if you find similarities between the way I dream and you dream, this could potentially help you kind of like discern that information for yourself when you wake up and remember your own dreams. So I think the first one that I'll start with is I think one I've had somewhat recently. Like it was only a few days ago, I think, but I'm also really bad at keeping time, so maybe a week ago I had this dream. And basically it was, I don't know, it started off pretty like mundane where there's just like an event I'm part of and a bunch of people are part of and we're just attending this event, but it gets like, I don't know, it's like somebody organized a coup. And in this like big event hall, all the like organizers of this event are like slowly taken over by these like religious men. Like literally some of them were dressed as like popes and things like that, and the event everyone was dressed kind of like eccentrically, so that felt normal in the dream that they were like that. But I noticed like eventually like all the organizers started getting overtaken by these like these like I guess religious men is kind of the vibe, like in pope costumes or whatever, and they started like kind of holding us hostage and telling us or like telling the servers that they have to listen to them now, and like they weren't allowed to leave, and they were threatened if they tried to leave or anything like that. So then me and my friends are like, we gotta organize a separate coup. Now bear with me, I know this doesn't sound super spiritual, but just wait, because maybe this part isn't so much, but just wait. So basically we start, I guess, like literally taking our power back from these religious men, which you could take as like symbols of just like religion, even just in the collective consciousness right now. Don't know if you've noticed, probably have, but especially maybe in the States, there's like, not just the States, but there's like this real pushback from like the old paradigm where they're trying to cling on to as much power as they can by like instilling a bunch of laws that control women, that try to limit and genocide trans people, and things like that. And there's always like a religious backing. It's usually these religious men, not always, but like these religious men who are trying to kind of like, it feels like take over and then take over your rights. So I feel like that was probably reflecting my fears of that in the dream, because that shit does stress me the fuck out, I'm gonna be honest. But but luckily in the dream we were able to overtake them. But when it gets like spiritual and symbolic was when there was like, it turned out the person pulling the strings was this giant like shadow being. Like he was a giant skeleton looking creature, which was kind of scary, honestly. He was huge. All his bones were like completely black or whatever, and he wasn't huge at first, but like when we started like taking our power back, literally I guess he got mad and he decided he was going to destroy the entire the entire like event hall. And so he grows fucking massive and huge or whatever. And usually I feel like I'd be scared, or I'd be like, in dreams when stuff like that happens, I'm not able to solve the problem and I just wake up because it was too big. But this time I looked at this guy and I was just kind of like, no, like it's not too big. you know what, fuck it. And then I just kind of, I also grew in this dream, and was now equal to the shadow being, we'll call him. I feel like shadow being isn't the right word. I don't know what he was, but this negative entity type being, right? Who was pulling the strings. And suddenly I'm as big as him, or whatever, which I just kind of accept in the dream. And I don't even have to fight him. I just stand in my power. I stand there and I'm like, you're not bigger than me. And he just kind of shrinks down to a normal human size. I shrink back too, and then there's like a fireplace or whatever. And right beside us, it's very weird. It's kind of big and like rectangular and deep. It's strangely deep for some reason. And inside there's like a floating hollow black orb. Like it's like a black circle, but it's like hollow, I guess. I don't know if I described that right, but and it's just kind of floating in there. And then this part of the dream is so weird because this being, he's no longer scary anymore, and he was just like what am I supposed to do now was kind of the vibe. I don't remember all the exact words that were exchanged, but it was very much the frequency of he's standing there and he's like, well, then what do I do now? Like, what do I have if not to take over and to destroy kind of thing? He's like, I just don't know what to do. It isn't necessarily what he said, but it was what I felt. And we told him that he has to go into the fire, and he has to go into there, but he's like, but I'm already dead. Like, I'm barely a living creature. Like, my bones are already charred. Nothing will happen. You won't even destroy me if you put me in there. And we said something along the lines of, the fire isn't to destroy you. Like, if you go in, you'll be purified, and now the destruction that you are will turn into light, or whatever, something like that, or whatever. So he just willingly got into the fire and just kind of like burnt away, like not in like a violent way, like it didn't feel violent, it didn't feel painful. As he's burning, we said, like, now the destruction you are, now instead of destruction, you get to bring new life. And then he was gone, and then I guess the dream was over. So for me, I felt like that dream was really like potent about just even my own fears about like people in power, abusing that power and being kind of tyrannical, and it kind of sneaking up on you and just taking away your rights like from behind. It was something I've been worried about, and this dream was kind of showing me, I feel like, symbolically, that I've reached a place within myself where I'm not, like, you're not gonna do that to me. Like, of course, these are very real issues, and, like, it's a little more simple than just having a dream and feeling better about it, but, like, it's more just, like, I'm not gonna let these people make me feel like I don't have a voice or I don't have any power, when that's just not the case. It is all frequency. If we all decided that we have the power and that we can stand up, then, like, these dark beings, you know, human or whatever, people running the show are not going to fucking, like, they're suddenly way less powerful, because you can't really, like, they kind of need us to submit to their rule for them to kind of, like, have anything to rule. And in this dream, like, even just talking down that dark entity pulling the strings and him being like, this is all I have nothing else, showed me how, like, empty I guess their lives are, or just, like, that kind of way of existing. Like, it is not powerful. It is the opposite of that. It's like masquerading as powerful when really you are deeply, deeply weak and wounded inside, because you have such a disconnection to source, a disconnection to other people. It is literally just you against the world, was what this being felt like, because it just felt like he manipulated people to, like, do what he wanted, kind of thing. But, like, that's not connection or community or anything soul related, right? And that's very lonely. Like, even this being, once he shrank down, was like, what do I do now? Because all he knew what to do was to manipulate, take power, control, destroy. And it's just like, that's not even, people like that aren't even scary to me, I feel like now. It's just so fucking sad. It is so fucking sad, and I don't want to say the word pathetic, but like it's so sad and pathetic to me, and I just thought it was a beautiful message too, to talk him down and be like, he can transform this kind of old version of him into new light, into life, you know, like, even if that's all you know, it doesn't have to be that way. I loved how there was like alchemical flames that he went into to transform him, and that incarnation of his was over. Like, I think he died that incarnation, but it wasn't sad. It was a good thing. It was, he was finally transformed into new life, which is how reincarnation works, right? So not all of the people here on this planet can, or I guess like the people in power, like the negative entities and stuff, can like necessarily change and be better. A lot of us can, like a lot of them I do believe can, and I believe they're on earth with that opportunity, but some won't. Some just don't want to, and that's okay. Once their incarnation comes to an end, even they will be kind of reclaimed by like the cycle, like the karmic cycle, the cycle of life, and, you know, be rebirthed again to maybe experience something other than this kind of low control, power, manipulation, darkness. So I thought that was just like a really potent dream. I also wanted to share one quick cool thing about another dream I had, which basically I was getting anxious about something I won't mention here because I will keep some things for myself. Thank you. But it was basically, I was feeling anxious about something. I was trying not to think about it and be like, it's okay if you can't control it, just, it is what it is, just chill. But I end up having like some anxious dreams, and I wake up in the middle of the night. I end up asking my guide, Archangel Zadkiel, and I'm like, if my worries are like true, can you please just tell me? Like, can you just tell me? Like, I don't want to worry about this. Like, indefinitely, I just want to know. And then I went back to sleep, and I woke up just feeling, in the middle of the night again, just feeling like completely coated and just being held. I felt completely held and like coated with love or whatever. Like, I felt so good and loved, which was really great, because when I feel anxious, which is how I was feeling before, my literal chest hurts, like my actual like heart hurts, which I think is a bad sign. But literally it's like physically uncomfortable for me. It's really awful. I don't like it. But then I woke up and that feeling was gone, and it was just replaced by this overwhelming feeling of being held and of being loved, which was super cool. And then when I went back to sleep, I was dreaming that I was in a car, and while I was in this car, I am looking out the window, and it was so crisp and clear in this dream. Like, it was so vivid. I'm looking out the window, it's like nighttime, and I see the moon, and it's so crisp. I can see it clearly, perfectly, 20/20 vision, more even, it felt like. And then I saw, like, I guess it would be a lunar eclipse happen in front of my eyes in this dream. And usually you wouldn't be able to look at something like that without getting blinded. And also, I don't know if it makes sense if it was a lunar eclipse during the night. I don't know how that's supposed to look, but it was basically the moon, and then the sun was somehow behind it. So I don't know how that happened. It was a dream, whatever. The point is, lunar eclipse, I think. And I can see it, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing to see this. And I'm also seeing like a bright twinkling star in like the dark sky, and these other, almost like a meteor shower, but they're all going into shooting in different weird patterns that don't really make sense for a meteor shower, but are beautiful, almost alien, and it was so pretty. And then I see like that one shining star. I notice it's a shooting star, actually, going much slower than they actually do in real life, but I see it. I know I'm supposed to make a wish, and I make the wish based on the thing I was anxious about. I'm like, I hope that's not the case, was my wish. And then I woke up, and literally immediately as I woke up, I got confirmation that the thing I was worried about was not a thing at all. And I was like, oh my fucking god. Like, that was so cool. That was so special. And that was so, like, supportive. I'm so glad I asked for, like, confirmation, because my guides, like, I don't necessarily think I actually made a wish and that changed anything that was going to happen. It was probably always going to be fine, but it was just, like, I feel like my guides or my soul was just showing me that to calm me down a bit and, like, reassure me, you know? Like, if you want something, ask. I saw the star. I asked, and it was fine, and it was sweet. I felt like a lot better after that dream. So this is another way I bring the story up as another way that you can use this to like talk to your guides, the symbolism, and also just help you like feel better, like help you kind of like there's anything you're anxious about, like your guides, if you dream a lot too, if you're getting better at like remembering them, can help you through stuff like this. You just have to ask. So try it next time you're feeling a little anxious about something or you want an answer. You might be surprised. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me here for this video. I really enjoyed telling stories about my dreams. I hope this was like understandable. I hope it like made sense, or at least was entertaining. I hope you take something from this and it's not just me rambling. But yeah, I'm thinking for like schedule in terms of my YouTube channel, like once every 2 weeks is probably more sustainable for me in my very busy, very chaotic life. So if I have a video every week, amazing. If it's every 2 weeks, still good, because holy shit, I am really not good at doing things every single week. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for, staying till the end of the video, and I hope you are having a wonderful day, week, year, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya.